I'm doing my Advent videos this year by focusing on the second advent of Jesus Christ. You can see from the background, I'm in an archaeological site. I'm in the biblical city of Smyrna, which is one of the churches that Jesus spoke to in the book of Revelation. You can tell there are other groups that are here, and you can hear them singing right now. I want to speak to you for this first Sunday of Advent. I want to speak to you about hope. The first Advent, the coming of Jesus that we celebrate at Christmas and the Incarnation, gives us a promise and a hope for the future. And that's His return when all of sin will be finally removed. In the church of Smyrna, there are several things I want to draw to your attention as we think about hope. One of the things Jesus says to them, as He will to all of the churches that are mentioned in Revelation 2 and 3, is that He says, I know. He knows who we are and where we are and our circumstances. At the church in Smyrna, He said to them, I am the first and the last. Whatever you're facing, He is the Alpha and the Omega of it. Nothing you face, however you spell it, is outside His Alpha and His Omega. He is also speaking, and John understood this because this is occurring probably in the 90s of the first century. And the Apostle John is living at this time. He's the last living apostle, and he's living in Ephesus. And he knows these churches that are around this part of Western modern Turkey. And John, as he is writing to them with these words of Jesus, he is writing to them with something they already know. He had already written and taught them in his letters, not only his gospel record, but particularly 1 John, where he wrote about the spirit of Antichrist. He wrote about how important the love that we have for one another and God's love for us is. And he wrote about the commandments of Jesus. So at the church of Smyrna, as he's giving them hope, he says to them, I know your works, that is your labor. I know your tribulation and your poverty. But then he says to them, and these are the words of Jesus, I know that you are rich. The hope we have is that whatever we face in life, God really knows what the real picture is. And the trials and the difficulties we face, that the gospel promises us that there is something better awaiting us. This letter ends, actually the second letter in the book of Revelation, it ends with this great knowledge that even though you're going to be tested and you'll have tribulation 10 days, that's a pretty interesting timeline. This number 10 is going to appear several times in the book of Revelation, but it also appears 10 days in Daniel chapter 1. In Daniel chapter 1, Daniel and Meshach and Shadrach and Abednego have been taken as exiles into Babylon, and there Babylon wants to give them their food to eat. But Daniel appeals and says, we don't want to eat your food. Your food is not kosher. Your food does not strengthen us. Let us eat according to how we feel like we should eat. Give us 10 days and test us after that. 10 days and see how we look. When you read that in Daniel 1, they remembered this. The Old Testament is just a great resource of what is described in the entire book of Revelation. All through the book of Revelation, Old Testament scripture, the Jewish world, what God was doing through the Jews is described all through the book of Revelation. So as you're reading that, keep in mind that at the end of 10 days in Smyrna, Jesus says, I'm going to give you the crown of life. And at the end, you will not taste of the second death. The second death is described in Revelation chapter 21, verse 8, of who will be in that. So as we begin Advent this year, we look forward with hope to the return of Jesus Christ. God bless you.